bad situation if that creature came here to Earth?
It's worse. Because he's arrived.
Attention all citizens. The space monster discovered in Corona Gorge last night has been identified. It is ghidrah.
What is up, everybody? This is Phil, the Kaiju King, from my collection room here in Greater Cincinnati. As you can tell by my entrance to this here video, I will be discussing the recently released X Plus 1964 King Ghidorah Standard Edition. I want to thank Michael Cantu for the purchase of it. He posted it in the X Plus collectors group, and for a very reasonable price, I thought, and I bought it straight away, and it's a pretty nice figure. I will bring it forward. Here he be in all his glory, the original King Ghidorah. It's a pretty nice figure, very nicely done. I have the King Ghidorah 68 behind me. I will bring him up too, and you will see the differences in them. To me, the major differences are the paint on this 64 is much more brighter, way brighter, and more dynamic of a gold color. And it's true to the movie, I'd say, though. And his necks are shorter. To me, they're noticeably shorter, but that's not in a bad way. That's in a good way. Because to me, in that movie, I watched the movie again recently, and his necks didn't really look all that long. So I think this is very good. And my wings went right in. I heard some people were having issues with putting the wings on, but mine went right in there, no problem on that. There was no damages to the figure, thank goodness. And it's a really nice figure. The scales are so nicely done on all over his body. His tails have the feathering type scales on them. His wings are nicely done. They're more spread out and not as upright as the 68. His manes are light, fairly dark brown. Eyes are nice red, dark red. Individual tongues, individual teeth sculpts in the mouth, very good. Feet are done well, 4 toes, 4 toenails. His horns are all really nice on his head. It's a really nice sculpt overall. It's really nicely done. I love the way the light shines off his wings. It really reminds me of the movie a lot, the way the light reflects off his wings too, even on this figure. It did it on the suit as well, in my opinion. It's pretty nicely done sculpt by X Plus. I originally didn't order this, and then I started seeing some people posting pictures, and I seen Leslie Chambers' review of this figure, and that is what really sold me over, the pictures that people were posting and the Leslie's review, because it's really nice, and there is enough difference in it from this to the 68. Once I seen everything going on with it, that I decided to go ahead and try to find one eventually, but then I seen that post that Michael Cantu posted, and it was a really decent price, I thought, for the figure, because it's only going to go up. And I went ahead and took the opportunity to get it, and I'm glad I did, because it's really a nicely done figure. I've heard people say it does look like he has a slight lean to the left to me, but he hasn't fallen over yet or anything. I've kept him up in my diorama room so far. This is the first time he's been down here in the collection room. So, but he looks all right though to me. 25 centimeter, but of course it's like the other 68. It's a big 25 centimeter figure. Him and Biolante and Destroyer, they're all three really large 25 centimeter figures. I'll go to some size comparisons soon, but this movie, shortly about the movie, it's probably top 5 my all-time Godzilla movies. It was a really cool movie. I remember first watching it when I was a young kid, and like that meteor hit the earth, and then they were studying it, and it had magnetism, and I was like, what in the world's going on with this thing? And then when it finally split open, and it revealed that there was an actual monster inside of it, that was really cool. And then the look of Ghidorah, when you first see Ghidorah with the 3 heads and no arms, but he flies, it's like a dragon with 3 heads. It was just really cool and badass looking creature. And it took the might of Godzilla and Mothra and Rodan in order to defeat this guy. But they did, and it was a combined effort after some coaxing by Mothra, because Mothra was, Godzilla and Rodan were being really stubborn of the whole thing. But the kaiju fights in it are really good. And the whole story, I think the human story in the movie's fairly done fairly well too, with the princess that they're trying to assassinate. She jumps out of the plane because the voice tells her to. And then she like gets amnesia, and she thinks she's from Mars and starts being like a prophet and all that. And the criminals find her picture in the paper, and they know it's her, and then they go and try to kill her, get rid of her for good. And it's thank goodness for the little Mothra fairies in that movie. They saved the humans a couple times. Pretty cool, I thought. But the whole movie is really good. I mean, I do like the human story. I mean, not most human stories in Godzilla movies are okay, and this one was very serviceable, I thought, for a human story. But it took the might of Godzilla, Rodan, and Mothra to defeat this creature known as Ghidrah, or Ghidorah. In that movie, he is Ghidrah, the 3-headed monster, so we will call him Ghidrah. And this is a really impressive figure. I do love it. Glad I picked it up. I'll do some size comparisons here. We'll bring up King Ghidorah 68 first. I always thought that King Ghidorah 68, that his paint was really good, but I feel the paint on this one, the 64 is better than the 68. It's just a little bit brighter and more vibrant gold, which that's what King Ghidorah was. But this is no slouch to 68 though. As you can see, the paint and apps on them. I'm hoping that shows up on the camera. I'll have some pictures as well being posted up here, but they definitely are both excellent figures. As you can see, the 64's wings are more down and spread out, and the 68, his wings are more upward. So you can see his height on his wings are a good 2 inches higher, but on his heads, the middle head is higher on the 64, probably by an inch. And you can definitely see the length in the necks, probably from this angle. The 68 has much longer necks than the 64. These are both really top-notch releases from X Plus. And I would recommend either one, to be honest. But I think there's enough difference, subtle difference in both, that I decided to pull the trigger on the 64, and I'm glad I did. I'll turn them around real quick. There we go. both pretty nicely done. Here's my 25 centimeter Rodan X Plus 64, Rodan 64. They size up pretty well in my opinion. We should have a 25 centimeter flying Rodan 64 maybe, because he was flying a lot in that movie. Seemed like, especially even during the battles with ghidrah, he was flying a lot. So it'd be nice to have a flying version of this Rodan to go with this ghidrah. Here's the Godzilla 65, 25 centimeter. They look pretty good. They scale really well together, I think. About right, really close. Soon we will get, next month I believe July, we will get the true Godzilla that goes with this 64 ghidrah and that Rodan, and that would be the 25 centimeter Godzilla 1964B suit, which that will be really nice when we get that to, because it'll be the true Godzilla that goes against this ghidrah. And I really think that thing looks impressive too, by the way. That sculpt is really, really, really nicely done. At least the photos of it. I could be disappointed, but I doubt it, because X Plus has been doing way good on details the last couple of years. So they've always been good with details, but especially on the 25 centimeter, the 71, the 65, that 64B looks really cool. So I think we'll definitely see a nice sculpt out of that 64B. And he's standing really upright, and it just reminds me of the movie, because it reminds me of the scene when he's talking, Mothra's talking to them, Rodan and Godzilla, and that's what that pose in that 64B that's upcoming, that's what that reminds me of. But I can't wait to put that with this. It'd be nice. But this here is a sculpt I would highly, or a figure I would highly recommend, and it is a wonderful sculpt too. So my wings went right on, no problem, no issue. I know some people were having problems with them not going in, but mine went pushed right in there, and they're in there really well. So there's not much grab there. It's thinner than the 68, not as wide, but it's held fine, no issues. And he does look like he has a little bit of a lean, but he's so far so good standing and all that. But I would highly recommend this figure if you don't have it. I know I've seen the pictures of the rig, the red, white, and blue one, and that one looks pretty cool. That thing probably would stick out on your shelf prominently. And I congratulate anyone who picked that one up. But I went with the standard because I feel like this is the movie. This is what he looks like in the movie. So I couldn't pass up the price that I got for it. So I'm glad I went ahead and got it. It's a really nice figure. I would highly recommend it. Anyone that wants a King Ghidorah, either this or the 68, either one, well, they're really both nicely done. And I highly recommend them. I'll do a close-up video here next, and I appreciate everyone's time and for watching, and I will talk to you all next time. This is Phil, the Kaiju King. I'll be signing off from my collection room, and everyone have a wonderful day.